Greetings, this is Steve Reed with Stephen Reed Coaching and Stephen Reed Ministries. I want to share a little bit of information with you, some insights about myself and a program that I've been running for many years. But first, a little bit about me. I've been coaching now since the early 90s. 1993 was my unofficial start date. And I started by teaching people and helping people understand their personality temperaments using DISC. And it was revolutionary for a lot of different people. It helped them understand themselves and those people with whom they were engaging a whole lot better. Well, then one day somebody calls me up and said, "Hey, Steve, I'm dealing with some life issues." That's not exactly what they said, but can we get together for coffee? And I started working with them on a life coaching basis. And then somebody says, "Steve, my marriage is on the rocks right now. Can you help us with our marriage?" Well, up to this point in time, I had taken a lot of different ongoing courses and continuing education programs, seminars and books and all different kinds of things, tools that I had come across to help me get better, not only for myself, but be able to get better for other people that I was working with. Then in 2009, I was going through some challenges myself, and I went through a life enrichment program. And unfortunately, just a couple of days before I went through this program, I was hit with some pretty devastating news myself. And as I was going through this program, they asked me a question. First of all, "Steve, have you ever felt like a victim?" And then they asked me if I'd ever felt rejected or abandoned, and then if I was ever abused. And as I was going through these things, I'm taking mental notes on how I could utilize this information to help other clients going down the road. So I ask you those same questions. First of all, have you ever felt like a victim? Now, there's a difference between being a victim and being victimized. Being a victim, that's a mindset. Being victimized, that happens to have been an event that you dealt with. What about being rejected? Were you rejected by a spouse or by a parent? Maybe by family members? Maybe in the workplace? Were you rejected by some people? And if so, how did you feel with that rejection? Did it make you angry? Did it make you feel lost or lonely or hurt? What were the emotions that were tied to that? What about abuse? Were you abused physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually? Have you been abused? And how did that make you feel? Did you feel like you were less of a person as a result of those things? Did you feel like you were unclean or dirty? What were the emotions that were tied to those things? Have you been abandoned? Maybe one day your parents, your mom and dad, split up and your dad moved out. And one Wednesday, you get a phone call from your dad. "I'm going to be there to pick you up on Friday afternoon," let's say. "And be there, be ready at 5 o'clock. I'm going to swing by, pick you up. We're going to have a great weekend." So you've got your little Spider-Man backpack all filled with your clothes and a couple of toys and maybe some snacks. And you're there waiting in that curbside. Here you are, 6 years old. You're waiting for your daddy to come back and take you away. 4:30. 5 o'clock comes. 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. And dad never shows up. And dad left you abandoned. How did that make you feel? And here's another question for you. Are you still dealing with these pains from your past? And if you are, how do you overcome those things? I've encountered virtually everything you can imagine from clients over the years. Some people go to the gym and they work out for hours at a time. Some people stay in the office and they become workaholics. Maybe they go shopping. And they shop for inexpensive things and expensive things as well. The credit card bills are racking up. Maybe they start journaling. Maybe they get involved in unhealthy relationships. Maybe there's violence and temper tantrums that are involved. Maybe you start eating all the wrong things or getting involved in drugs and alcohol. Whatever the tool is or the mechanism is that you are using to mask or hide your pain, you don't have to do that anymore. I've got a formula. I've been working with people, again, since 2009, and I've helped literally hundreds of people get past those pains and those uncomfortable feelings that they've been carrying sometimes for years. Maybe it's the past 2 or 3 years. Maybe it's been 5 years or 10 years. Maybe it's 30 years. I even had one client recently that had been holding on to some pain from when he was a young boy at 5 years old. And today, he's 65 years old. And he never got rid of that anger and that bitterness that happened to him when he was such a little boy. So what are you doing to get rid of the pain? What if there was a formula that you could implement to get rid of all of the pain, the guilt, the shame that you've been holding on to, maybe the anger and the bitterness that you've been holding on to, and you'd like to finally get rid of that once and for all? Here's the challenge. You don't know how. You've tried all these different things to mask the pain, but nothing has worked. It keeps coming back. Well, I've got a formula. And the formula, frankly, it works 100% of the time, as long as people apply every step in the formula. So where are you today? Are you still dealing with some of those pains from your past? Are you still dealing with triggers that are causing problems in your current relationships? Or maybe those triggers cause problems in other previous relationships. Maybe now is the day to get rid of that pain. So reach out. Let's schedule a time for a virtual meeting. And let's see if we can start peeling back the layers to figure out exactly what it is that you're holding on to and how we can get rid of that old baggage. Think of it this way. Think of that baggage as being an old tattered duffel bag. No wheels on it. It's just that old canvas duffel bag. And you're tired of carrying it, so you start dragging it behind you across that gravel parking lot. It doesn't move very smoothly. What if we could get things to the point where either you don't have to deal with it anymore, or it's a lot easier to deal with? Well, this is Steve Reed with Stephen Reed Coaching and Stephen Reed Ministries. I would love to help you get rid of some of the baggage that may be holding you back in accomplishing the things that you genuinely want to accomplish. My mission, simply put, I want to bring light and hope into your world so that you can have a more victorious life going forward. Reach out today. Let's get you back on the right track. Bye for now.